Hello everybody. Got some more tests going today and something I think you'll be fairly interested in. I'm very interested in it because until just recently I thought the nearest one of these plants was probably 30 odd miles away, so in a sense it was unusable by me. Stick around for the next part and you'll get to understand exactly what it is I'm talking about. Now, there have been various issues with power supply and okay, recent events have made that a little bit worse, but that has been there for quite some time, this power supply, and trying to, you know, sort of going green with wind power and solar and that sort of thing. Well, one thing that's come onto the radar within the last decade are biodigesters. Now, I knew of one about 30 miles away from me, which was a little bit too far for me to use for this stuff. But recently I had an email through a subscriber on the channel who lives just a small handful of miles away down the coast from me here, and that lad is called Graham, and he was talking about this local biodigester and about this fantastic compost, and this is it. And now I did give a hint about this on another video and people were guessing that it might be sort of coffee grounds or worm casts, that sort of thing, but this is actually the waste from the process of biodigesting. Now, what this farmer down the coast does is he piles a lot of materials, and it's chiefly sort of pig muck, wheat and rye, and I think he actually grows them on his farm. He's diversified, and the power that's generated, the heat, is used and converted to electricity, which he sells back to the grid. That farmer's diversifying, because we all know that farming is also in crisis in this country. So I think fair play to him. But the end result from that biodigester is this stuff, which is touted as rocket fuel. Now, I have seen a few photographs, but I've never used it myself. This farmer is throwing out 5 tonne of this a day, which is, when you think of it, an incredible amount. It's not just being thrown away, wasted. He's giving it to a local company and they are bagging it up and selling it. Very popular. The moment it arrives in, it's almost sold out almost immediately. So it's very popular. As I say, touted as rocket fuel. So I'm going to use it. And as a comparison, this is normal multi-purpose compost, and I think this is peat based, which we know is going to be phased out next year. By comparison, weight for weight, this is twice as heavy as the peat-based stuff. This is light and fluffy. This is granular because it's been so well chopped up. There are some lumps in it, but once you rub it, it goes down to granules. That's just the process of shifting with a digger. Lots and lots of this, 5 tonne a day. As soon as you rub it, as I say, back to granules. So I'm going to do a test on it, and the best thing for testing compost is what you call a bean test, and that's why there's been a delay from me when I showed this probably about a month or so ago, and we're using it now. Is the ideal time to sow bees. So I'm all set up. We're going to run a test on it and see how it works, and I'm hoping really that more farmers take this on. If they can make a living out of it, then it's a good thing, and the waste product will then be available locally. Even if it isn't available locally, it could be a good source for the compost companies to use to make better blends, because to be honest, most of the peat-free composts I've tried have been next to useless. I haven't yet found a good one, and I suspect if I did find a good one, then getting the stock of it in such a remote area as I live in here in Cumbria would be the difficulty. I know there are a couple of touted couple of peat-free compost that are touted as very good, but the distribution is not brilliant. It tends to be major population centres. So yeah, it'd be handy if this was local and available. Anyway, we'll get to the tests now. So Graham very kindly came through and he brought me a couple of bags of this biodigester compost for me to try and see what I thought of it. He's using it and he's happy with it, and he knows a lot of people who do. But I say I'm going to do a bean test on it, and I'm using these module trays. These are from Container Wise. There's an empty one. These are much deeper because these beans are going to be in here now. After I've sown them today, they're going to be in here for probably a month or more. French beans don't do very well for me here unless I'm putting them out into blazing sunshine and really warm temperatures, which should be warm enough in the tunnel for me to germinate these seeds. Now this variety is a climbing French bean, Cobra, and I'm just going to put them on edge, knuckle deep, straight into the compost. And you can see I've got two trays, one with compost and one with the Biodigester stuff, which I'll write on the label as well. And the idea with the bean test is because they grow so quick, you can see, for example, if there's any weed killer in it, or how much feed is in the mix that you're using, because you'll very quickly see once they get going, if they start to turn a sort of a pale green colour, you know that there's not a lot of feed in there. So it should be a good test to see how well this biodigester compost does in comparison to a formulated blended compost straight out of the bag, which is what this is. It's not even sieved, just straight out of the bag and straight into the trays. And it's exactly the same with that biodigester stuff. I haven't added anything. I've just soaked them both completely, sowed the seed, and we'll see where we go from there. Now the seed has everything it needs to get going. In fact, inside a seed, its first seed leaves are actually formed already, and they're sitting there sort of shielding the radicle, the root, and the embryonic stem and the seed leaves. So once the seed coat is wet on that, it loosens, it splits, and the plant starts to grow. The root will come out, the shoots will start coming up, and then the seed leaves will open. From about there, the plant itself, because it is now a plant, is looking for sunshine and those seed leaves to get it going, and the root, the radicle, is now looking for feed as well. So very quickly you're going to need feed with the seed. So there we go, that's that, and I shall fill those up as well. So I've got another test to do with this. This is the Biodigester compost. This is normal bagged multi-purpose compost. I think it's peat based. So this is a formulated bagged product ready to go, and a good control to compare it against. And I've got 2 bags of cut and come again salad leaves mix, 2,500 seeds. There's a lot of seeds in each packet, and I'm going to sow a packet each onto these trays and grow them as cut and come again salad. And then we can use that as a foil to see not necessarily which is the best, but how each compares against the other. I know what results I should be getting from the compost, and as I say, if there's not enough feed in either of them, you'll soon see it in the leaves that you're growing. So those have been soaked, those trays have been equally soaked again this morning, and I'm not going to water again until I see signs of germination, unless we get very dry days. But I'll just sprinkle a bit of compost and a bit of biodigester on top of those and pop them away, and we can use those later to as a foil to gauge what's going on. This will take a bit longer. Salad leaves, when sown like this, take a while to germinate. It could be a month, but in that time I'll be getting some more tests going using that. I've still got 60 or 70 litres of this stuff left. Started the bean test. I might try something with peas for the same scenario, and then I'll try some different things. And then what I want to do also, and what I'd like to do today, or would have liked to have done today, is a blend mix. So put in half of that and half of that in a tray. But that will come up in some other tests that I'm going to run in a couple of weeks. So make sure you don't miss that and see the result of this. I think it's going to be quite important moving forward for compost. And I say, just hit the big red button down here, the big subscribe button, and then you'll get notified when you've hit the bell of when I do any more videos for you to have a look at, and you can keep on top of this and see what's going on and how these tests work. I'm really looking forward to it actually. It's quite exciting trying something new to me. I know it's not necessarily new on the scene, but it's certainly new to me, so we'll see how these do. So I've got these trials away on a hanging shelf in the big tunnel, and you can see I've alternated biodigester and then normal compost, biodigester and then normal compost. Give them all an equal chance and opportunity, and then have a quickly spin you around and move over to one of the other shelves. Got the 2 salad leaf mixes there. So over the course of the beans and the lettuce growing, there'll be various key moments, you know, when they've germinated, once they start growing, how they look, but they won't necessarily fill a whole video. They'll become part of other videos, and this is why I said if you subscribe by hitting the big red button below, then you won't miss those things. Be part of the normal day-to-day life and my summations and things. I might make a full video later in the year with a result of all the tests, but all these tests will be ongoing, so there will be other tests added. I want to test that stuff to its max. Got a few ideas, just need to get them underway. But for now, that's it for today. Look after yourselves everyone, please stay safe, and I'll see you all very, very soon. Ta-ra now.